I found out my work best friend has been in love with me for years, and I might feel the same. Hi. Honestly, I do not even know how to start this. I feel like I am stuck in some kind of rom-com gone wrong, and I have no idea how to get out of it without blowing up my whole life. So, here goes. I am 28F, and I have worked at my current company for 4 years now. Marketing team. Pretty chill vibe overall. The kind of place where everyone knows everyone's coffee order and your boss sends memes in Slack at 11 p.m. We are tight-knit, not just coworkers but actual friends. Lunch together, birthday parties, happy hours that spiral into late-night karaoke. And then there is Eli. Eli is 29M, and he has basically been my work best friend since day one. You know how sometimes you just click with someone immediately? Same weird sense of humor. Same chaotic energy. Same tendency to get way too invested in office drama. That is Eli and me. People have joked for years that we are secretly dating. We always laughed it off. I mean, come on, I have a boyfriend, Matt, 30M, my safe place. Matt is the kind of guy you build a life with, steady, reliable. The human version of a warm cup of tea after a long day. We live together. We have a dog. We have talked about marriage and kids and mortgages. I thought everything was on track until last Friday. We had just wrapped a massive campaign, one that had taken months of work and way too many late nights. The whole team went out for drinks to celebrate. Everyone was in a good mood. Shots were happening. Embarrassing stories were told. Slowly, people started trickling out. Rideshare apps dinging, goodbyes being said, until it was just me and Eli. It did not even feel weird at first. We have hung out alone before. Movies, lunches, random Target runs. But that night felt different. He was quieter, more fidgety. We were sitting at the bar, laughing about something incredibly dumb. I do not even remember what when he just looked at me. Not a casual glance, not a joking smirk. Really looked at me, and then he said it. You know I am in love with you, right? At first I laughed, because obviously he was joking, had to be. But he did not laugh, he did not even smile. He just kept looking at me with this open, raw expression that made my chest tighten painfully. He said, I have been in love with you for a long time. I was not going to say anything, but I cannot keep pretending anymore. I froze. Like actual full-body, brain short-circuit frozen. The bar noise faded away. The lights seemed too bright. The world felt tilted. I managed to stammer out, Eli, I have a boyfriend. He just nodded. Like he had known that would be my response. Like he had already played this moment out in his head 100 times. I know, he said. That is why I never said anything. But it is eating me alive. I panicked. There is no other way to describe it. I grabbed my bag, mumbled something about needing to go, and practically sprinted to the nearest Uber. Since then, he has texted me a few times. Nothing crazy. Just hope you're okay and can we talk? I have not replied. I cannot. Because here is the part I am terrified to admit. I cannot stop thinking about it. And not in a gross, awkward way. In a heart-racing, stomach-flipping, mind-whirling way. Because deep down, part of me always knew something was different with Eli. I have always looked forward to seeing him more than anyone else at work. I tell him things I do not even tell Matt. We finish each other's sentences. We have inside jokes that no one else gets. And now, with those 5 words, I am in love with you, everything feels different. Was I emotionally cheating this whole time without realizing it? Was I investing parts of myself into someone else while telling myself it was just friendship? I do not know. All I know is that I feel like I am carrying a huge, messy secret, and it is getting heavier by the second. I have not told Matt anything. How do you even start that conversation? Hey, babe, remember my work bestie. Turns out he is in love with me, and I might kind of be into him too, sorry. It feels like admitting it out loud would set everything on fire. And Monday I have to go back to work, pretend everything is normal. Sit in meetings, pass Eli in the hallway, maybe even sit next to him at lunch if the seating gods decide to really torture me. I have no idea how to handle it. Do I talk to Eli, avoid him, tell Matt? Quit my job and move to another country? Part of me wants to bury my head in the sand and pretend none of this ever happened. Part of me wants to run straight to Eli and ask what would happen if I said I felt the same. And part of me just wants to cry because no matter what I do, someone is going to get hurt. Maybe everyone will. I do not know if anyone will even read this, but if you have advice, or if you have ever been through anything remotely similar, I am begging you, please tell me what to do. Because right now, I feel like I am standing on a cliff edge with no idea whether I am about to fall or fly. Help. Hey again. First of all, thank you, for real. I did not expect so many people to care, let alone take the time to comment, DM, or even just say, hey, you are not crazy for feeling torn. And yes, even to the people who called me an emotional cheater. You are not wrong, I am not proud of how tangled up everything has gotten. I read every comment, even the tough ones, especially the tough ones. And Monday, I finally had to face it. I saw Eli at work. It was awful. He looked awful. Like he had not slept all weekend. Dark circles under his eyes, hair a mess, the kind of drained look that you cannot fake even if you tried. My first instinct was to avoid him. Just keep my head down, hide behind my laptop, pretend everything was fine. But of course, the universe laughed at that plan. We ended up stuck in the same morning meeting, sitting 3 seats apart, stealing glances at each other and pretending not to. During a coffee break, while people were milling around, he pulled me aside, whispered, "Can we talk?" I wanted to say no. God, I wanted to say no, but my feet betrayed me. We ducked into a small conference room, one of those tiny glass boxes meant for brainstorming sessions and quick huddles. It felt too bright, too exposed. I crossed my arms, defensive, terrified of what he might say next. I told him bluntly, "You dropped a bomb on me, Eli. It wasn't fair." He winced, actually winced. He apologized immediately, said he knew it was selfish, said he hated himself for it, said he had tried to keep it buried, but it was killing him inside, watching me every day. Hearing me talk about Matt, pretending like it did not shred him a little more each time, and then he said something that wrecked me. "If you tell me to leave you alone, I will. I will even switch teams, move desks, whatever it takes. I just had to be honest with you at least once." I do not know what I expected him to say. Maybe to fight for me, maybe to beg, but that simple offer to disappear if I needed him to gutted me more than any grand romantic gesture ever could have. And that is when I made the mistake. Or maybe it was not a mistake. Maybe it was the most honest thing I have said in weeks. I said, "What if I am not sure I want you to leave me alone?" He just stared at me. No words, no sarcasm, no jokes. Just this raw, naked look that made my throat tighten painfully. And then I burst into tears, in the middle of a glass conference room, at 10 in the morning, with coworkers walking past, pretending not to notice. Real professional moment there. I grabbed a tissue from the table, wiped my face, and mumbled something about needing time. Space. Clarity, he nodded, did not push, did not argue, just let me leave. I spent the rest of the day on autopilot. Emails, meetings, smiling and nodding and pretending my whole world was not spinning out of control. Later that evening, Matt texted me, "Everything okay? You have been weird lately." And just like that, the guilt hit me like a truck, because he is right. I have been weird, distant, half-present, and he does not deserve that. He deserves someone who is sure, someone who chooses him without hesitation. And right now, I am not sure about anything. I love Matt. At least I think I do. But maybe I love Eli too. Or maybe I just love the version of myself that Eli sees, the version that laughs louder, feels lighter, dreams bigger. And I do not know if that is salvageable, or if it is just the result of years of emotional intimacy built in the wrong context. What I do know is that I cannot keep living in limbo. I cannot keep lying to Matt by omission. I cannot keep dangling Eli by a thread. I cannot keep pretending I am okay when every part of me feels splintered. So I am going to therapy this week. Finally, not for Matt, not for Eli, for me. Because before I make any decisions, I need to figure out what the hell is going on inside my own head. What I really want. Who I really am when I am not trying to be who everyone else expects me to be. I do not know how this ends yet. I just know that whatever happens next, it has to be honest. No more secrets. No more pretending, even if it hurts, even if it changes everything, especially if it changes everything. Thank you again. For listening, for pushing me to face what I was too scared to admit. I will update when I can. Okay, deep breath. This week has been one of the hardest of my life. I told Matt everything, not just about Eli's confession, not just about that one messy night where everything cracked open, but about how I have been feeling for months, how close Eli and I became, how maybe I crossed lines I should never have crossed even if my hands stayed clean. I told him I had not physically cheated. No kisses, no touches, no secret hotel rooms, but emotionally, I might have been halfway out the door without even realizing it. When I first sat Matt down, my hands were shaking so hard I had to grip my coffee mug just to keep them still. I could barely look at him. He listened, silent, still. He did not yell, did not curse, did not throw anything across the room like the dramatics you see in movies. He just stared at me with this blank, hollow expression I will probably never forget. Like I had just punched a hole through the life we built together. And then he asked the question I had been dreading. So have you been in love with him this whole time? I opened my mouth to say no. The words were right there. They should have been automatic, but something inside me caught. Because the truth is, I do not know, I think no, I hope no. But a part of me wonders if I have been holding a secret door open in my heart for longer than I want to admit. And that hesitation, that flicker of doubt, it hurt him more than any confession could have. He packed a bag. Quietly. Deliberately. Said he was going to stay with his brother for a while. Said he needed time to figure out if he could ever trust me again. I did not beg him to stay. I did not have the right. We have talked a few times since. Short conversations. Mostly logistical stuff about the dog and bills. Civil, polite, but cold. So cold it makes my chest ache. Meanwhile, Eli and I have barely spoken beyond what is absolutely necessary for work. He has been respectful, almost too much. Like he is terrified of making things worse. Like he is trying to fold himself into the smallest version possible just to stay out of my way. He does not joke with me anymore. Does not linger at my desk. Does not even meet my eyes in the hallway. And maybe that is for the best. Maybe it has to be this way. But it still feels like another loss on top of everything else. Part of me wonders if I ever really wanted Eli, or if I just liked feeling wanted. Liked the attention. Liked being seen in a way I had not felt seen in a long time. I am not proud of that. I am not proud of any of this. My therapist asked me something this week that knocked the wind out of me. She said, "What would your life look like without either of them? Without Matt, without Eli, without the safety net of the relationship I built, without the adrenaline rush of the what-if connection I let grow?" I did not have an answer. The thought terrifies me. Because somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing myself as a whole person outside of the people who loved me. I wanted to believe I was a good person caught in a confusing situation. Someone who just made a mistake. Someone who got swept up in emotions she did not understand. But now I am scared I am just someone who could not appreciate a good thing until it started slipping away. Someone who broke trust without even meaning to. Someone who thought she was strong, but crumbled the second someone else made her feel special. I do not know what happens next. I do not know if Matt will come back. I do not know if I even deserve for him to. I do not know if Eli and I could ever be anything real, or if we were just two lonely people clinging to the wrong kind of intimacy. All I know is that standing here, in the wreckage, hurts more than I ever imagined. And it is no one's fault but mine. I will keep going to therapy. I will keep trying to figure out who I am without defining myself by who loves me. I will keep trying to be better, because right now, better is all I have left to aim for. Thank you again, for listening, for telling me the truths I was too afraid to say out loud, for reminding me that healing is messy and ugly and does not happen in straight lines. I am not okay yet, but maybe someday I will be. Hey, here to close the loop for anyone still curious. It has been a long, messy, painful few months. The kind of stretch of time that feels like both a blink and a lifetime all at once. Matt and I officially broke up 2 weeks ago. We really tried. I mean it when I say that. It was not a dramatic explosion. It was not name-calling and slammed doors. It was two people sitting across from each other, realizing that no matter how much history they shared, they could not patch over what had been broken. We went to therapy, we had long, late-night talks, we cried, we apologized, but in the end, it was not enough. Matt said he could forgive, and maybe he could have eventually. But he also said he could never forget. And forgetting, or at least softening the memory, is kind of crucial if you are going to build a future together. I respected that. I loved him. I still love him, but in a past tense kind of way. The kind of love that feels like a photograph you keep tucked in a drawer. Something you look at with fondness, but not something you live inside anymore. And that is no way to build a marriage. As for Eli, no, I did not run into his arms. If that is what you were wondering, if that is what you were hoping for or dreading. In fact, after Matt and I ended things, I told Eli I needed space. Real, honest space. Not let's be together now that the coast is clear space. Actual, terrifying, solitary space. Because here is the thing I had to face. I could not tell if my feelings for Eli were about him or about what he represented. Freedom. Passion, escape. He was the breath of fresh air when my world felt small. He was the what, if when my life felt too mapped out. But that is not the same as love, and I owed it to myself and to him to figure that out without leaning on someone else to do the hard work for me. So I requested a lateral transfer at work. Still the same company, different department, different floor, different projects. No more daily casual collisions, no more inside jokes across the conference table. When I told Eli, he understood. I think he was disappointed. I think maybe he hoped we would jump straight into something new, but he did not argue. He did not try to change my mind. He just said, I get it, and meant it. We had coffee last week. Just coffee, just friends, no lingering looks, no spark crackling under the surface. And for the first time, it did not feel electric. It felt peaceful, like something had finally settled between us. Maybe we were always meant to be a spark that could not survive the fire. Maybe we will reconnect someday, on different terms, in a different life. Or maybe that chapter is closed too. I am not counting on anything right now. For the first time in a long time, I am not chasing any version of what could be. Right now, I am just me, living alone for the first time in years, waking up in a quiet apartment that feels both terrifying and thrilling. I am going to therapy. I am reconnecting with friends I neglected when my world revolved around a relationship. I am reading books that have nothing to do with self-help or heartbreak. I am learning how to be someone who does not need validation to feel whole. Was I the villain in this story? Maybe. Maybe not in the mustache-twirling way, but in the quiet, human way of hurting people you love because you were too scared to face your own needs and fears. I am trying not to live in shame about it, just in truth, because shame keeps you stuck. Truth, as painful as it is, at least gives you a way forward. This chapter is done. And even though it did not end with a wedding or a grand romantic reunion or a perfect little bow, it feels like an ending that makes sense. A real one. Thank you all for the advice, for the tough love, for the reminders that it is okay to be messy, but not okay to stay messy forever. I do not know what the next chapter looks like yet, but I am ready to start writing it. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you all.